Hiya, and welcome back to Moonlight Castle, the game that teaches us that Ryan, baby girl, you can play music for me anytime. I'm a simp. Anyways, let's just hop right in. I'm a Ryan simp. Clyde looked exactly how I imagined him to be, wearing an exhausted, empty look on his face. Yet he still found a sliver of relief when our eyes met, but I couldn't feel happy yet, not at this moment. Hey. Didn't expect to find you waiting here. But I will say this. Harold Grifter from Extracurricular Activities. He's mine? I will fight a bitch. I will fight a bitch. All I'm going to say about that is, these hands are rated E for everyone. I will fight a bitch. These hands are rated E for everyone. Hey, didn't expect to find you waiting here. I knew you cried. I saw the pain you went through. I'm sorry I'm sorry I can't explain. I want you to tell me yourself. I want to earn the right to be in your life. You don't need to hold it in. His feelings were so similar to mine that I couldn't help growing emotional too. I hugged him and caught a glimpse of the bathroom. The mirror was cracked, pieces scattered on the floor. You're shaking. I'm sorry, forgive me, I can't keep up appearances anymore. I gently caressed his back, forced him to walk back inside and close the door shut with my leg. Just kidding with Harold. Simp for whoever you want. I'm not going to claim possession. Simp for whoever you want. The world is your playground. You can simp. The visual novel world is your playground. Simp for whoever. I gently caressed his back, forced him to walk back inside, and closed the door shut with my leg. It doesn't matter to me. I'm always going to look at you and see the same person. He hugged me back, his grip tightened around my shoulders, followed by a twisted sob. Everyone is simping everyone on this earth, right? Right? Why am I even doing this if I can't protect my friends? I hurt you, I hurt Blake. Everyone's in trouble because of my decisions. You couldn't have known. Sometimes your choices can hurt others, but you never meant to do that. Nobody's going to hold it against you, I promise, and if they do, they weren't your friends to begin with. Clyde let go so that we could take another look at each other, causing us to smile with those teary eyes. I saw Liam outside. We shouldn't keep him waiting. Who cares? All I could think about is you. Clyde laughed, hearing his voice. That simple little thing was making me feel happy. Don't be like that. He offered his help, looked after you. Clyde. He had to. He knocked me out. He could have walked away and didn't. I get it. He's not easy to deal with, but let's be patient. Fine. Just because you're asking me. I don't know, but I already feel better. Thanks for being here. He reached for my hands and failed to hide my bandaged palm from him. Did you cut yourself? We're walking back to the infirmary. I'll look at it, disinfect it, and patch you up. It's a silly cut. Ignore that. I want to make sure, can I? Please? Well, fine, if you insist. I'll be taking care of you now. Sweet Durg. He's so sweet. He's so sweet. He needs a little more than a hug. He needs a little more than a hug. He needs a kiss. Joel, kiss him. I blushed and followed him outside. Liam was nowhere to be found. Clyde and I walked back to the infirmary. He ignored whoever tried approaching us. Oh god, it's probably Margaret. Clyde taking care of us, best day ever. He'd usually try and explain himself, but now things were different. I was tired again. He better allow me another nap or I might collapse on my way home. I hope you'll stick around today if you're not busy. There's a couple of things I'd like to ask you. Can I rest in the infirmary? You're clearly exhausted and injured. I'm sure we can get an hour or two. Are we bending the rules? A little mischief might do me some good. I like that. I really do. I studied Clyde as he gently seated me down. Those emotions I had experienced earlier slowly washing away. In that comforting silence, he cleaned and examined the wound. Then his eyes widened with curiosity before bandaging it, just like he said he would. Oh, fuck, I can't fucking speak! He made the process feel so tedious and long when, in reality, it was just a cut. Yet my chest felt warm when I allowed him to do things his way, to make him feel useful too. Now that things were quiet and I had calmed down, I came to realize that what I had done, the things I had said, my behavior, none of it made any sense. Clyde finished patching me up and sat next to me, and not a single word was said between us. Hiya. We were both thinking about what happened. I never thought I could get that personal with anyone but Ryan. I just hoped it didn't cross boundary. Damn it! Hang on. I'll be right back. Apparently I can't fucking speak English. I thought I could speak English, but apparently not. If I'm messing up all the fucking time. I've been lost to the void. I just recently crawled out. I've been in the void. I've been lost in the void. I've only recently just crawled out of it. Rejoice, for we are within the void. Oh no. But in reality, if I want to, but I'm also going to caffeinate. Like, if I wanted to, I could just go into the void. The ring reference. Ring as in Lord of the Rings, or ring as in Samara, the ring. But I haven't seen either movie. I know what the references are, but yeah. Kind of. I haven't seen that movie. I get the gist of it. Like, some girl, she watches a film and then she gets a creepy phone call that she's gonna die in 7 days, so she flips the fuck out, tries to prevent it. And I think she ends up not preventing it and straight up gets killed by Samara. Yeah. Skill issue. I just hoped it didn't cross boundaries or feel inappropriate. What were those feelings anyway? The more I thought about it, the more foreign it felt, like those feelings weren't mine to begin with. I was trying to follow my memories and gather them into a cohesive line, but they were all fleeting moments drowned in darkness. My hand had scraped against the wall hard enough to leave a bruise, yet I had no recollection of doing that. My mind must have been in disarray at that moment, but my body felt frozen in time. I couldn't stop thinking about the shattered mirror I saw in the bathroom. Did Clyde do that in a fit of rage? My eyes bounced up from the floor to stare at the dragon beside me. Memories that weren't my own. Emotions that didn't belong to me. Pain that we both shared equally. It might have sounded crazy, but just for a moment, I felt like I was another person entirely. I felt a connection, a greater empathy that dragged me into action, compelled by it. What was I thinking? All I did was glue myself to a wall and look like an absolute idiot to all of my peers who happened to walk by, yet I somehow managed to hear a few of Clyde's lines through it. I stealthily lowered my hat in response, feeling the shame creeping up through my thoughts. This could have been so much easier if the entire ordeal was a massive hallucination caused by stress. But we knew that wasn't true. The book was just as crazy and we had yet to address it. I was tired, I was overwhelmed, and I wanted to shut down my brain right there and then. Those 2 hours of sleep I got, they meant absolutely nothing to me. These days have been so exhausting, more than usual, to the point that I could have fainted if I wasn't careful enough. Clyde. My voice slapped him wide awake as his head slowly jerked forward. Yet he didn't meet my gaze and kept staring ahead, locking his eyes into the void. I know, your face says it all. You think we shouldn't talk about it, you think it's best if we pretend it never happened, but we have to talk. But that way our friendship will survive longer, until the inevitable happens. What are you referring to? It's impossible to keep your friends ignorant forever. One day, the truth will come out because you get closer and closer. I could feel great discomfort from the way his voice cracked. And When that happens, it all falls apart. Everything changes forever, and you can't turn back. His face twisted and his eyes closed in an attempt to hold more tears from gushing out. Would have liked to spend more time with you and make happy memories for me to fondly look back on. I gently placed my hand on top of his, trying to push away those intrusive thoughts that were leading him on. I'm not going anywhere. But he moved it away, almost fearfully, only strained more by my response. You will! It's like everybody else did. You heard it, didn't you? Not the whole conversation, but you did made me happy. And I came to realize how impossible that reaction was. How? What did you hear that conversation? That question didn't feel like one he wanted the answer to. He was simply tormenting himself further with it. I don't know. It's still a mystery to me. I just really wanted to talk to you. Now you will change. You won't be the same person I had the pleasure of knowing because of what you heard. How something as simple as a surname could be so devastating to learn? I thought it was about safety. That's one reason. The other is to not let people take advantage of me. We're in the infirmary. The other is to not let people take advantage of me. I told you already. People change and I lose the ability to interact with real people. The truth blinds them, and rather than people, I find myself surrounded by shapes. Oh, we cut her hand. Fakes who are only after the benefits of our supposed friendship. And you think that will happen to me too? His head snapped in my direction as to pry the answer straight from my eyes. I want to say no, I swear, with all my heart. I want to believe that this time it'll be different, but it never was. He held his chest as tightly as he possibly could, with a turmoil I couldn't fully understand. It might be hard to believe, but after listening to you, I still don't know why I should do that. I wanted to quell that sadness somehow, so I admitted my own ignorance. What is it that makes people change? I don't remember hearing you mentioning that. He relented. Somehow my questioning lightened the load he was carrying as it turned into hesitation. Unsure of where to go from there. But you heard my phone call, didn't you? If so, then you should know already. All I heard is that your father's an asshole, but hey, that seems to be the norm lately. I let out a small chuckle, but he didn't react the same way I did, and his uncertainty kept spreading further. So, you don't know what my surname entitles. Bitch, I don't even remember your surname. It's been a little under 24 hours. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast. That should tell you exactly where my mind is. Granted, I did kind of fuck up my brain and body a bit. The summer of 2022 was not kind. But granted, living off of Dollar General candy and Monster energy drink does that to you. I don't remember what I had for breakfast. I don't even remember what I did yesterday. That should tell you exactly. That should tell you exactly where my mind's at. So Clyde, baby, you have nothing to worry about. Except Russell's. And Patrice's. Russell and Patrice. Those two, and maybe Blake, have supportive families. I swear to God, those two, actually no, I swear to God, Patrice is the only well-adjusted one. Remove his trauma, what do you have? A well-adjusted adult. So, you don't know what my surname entitles. Oh, are you, like, famous or something? Even more than that crazy fan club of yours? That was the most I could understand on my own because I lacked general knowledge. To tell you the truth, I don't follow the news, celebrities, or any trends on the internet. I'm so drowned in my studies that whenever I do get free time, I spend it playing video games at Ryan's house. He returned to me with an intense stare, almost as if all emotions were being sucked out of him. I felt really self-conscious having to say something so embarrassing. My hat was begging me to come hide inside. Damn it! Damn it! I still don't know all the Kardashians. I know! I feel so bad for saying that. All I know about celebrities, because I only follow like 2. And even then, they're both musicians. I only follow 2. Skrillex and Deadmau5. That's it. I couldn't give a shit about anything else. I know I should keep on top more, but I can't help it. It's boring and I'm always so tired. Is that true? Do you really not know anything? A mixture of relief and disbelief washed over him. He wanted to believe it so badly, but something still held him back. I can call Ryan right now and ask him. You can hear from the source if that's what you want. That must have been enough to convince him, as he grabbed my hands to keep all the attention on himself. Then, please, hear me out. I want your lips sealed. Nobody must learn about my surname, not even Ryan. I could feel sweat under his palms as he held me, and I realized how stressed this discussion must have been for him. His body temperature was way too high. I'll be quiet about it. And you have to promise me that you won't search my full name. If my surname truly didn't ring a bell, let it stay that way. I don't understand, but if this is important to you, then I promise. I hated having my curiosity riled up only to be forced into killing it. Clyde let my hands go and abandoned his body to gravity as it bounced on the soft mattress with a deep exhale following suit. I'm really exhausted. Same. I stood up and opened the window to let in some fresh air for Clyde, whose body seemed to be on fire now. And we have more to discuss. No rush, I'm here. I can wait for a little bit. But that moment of peace was interrupted by a knock on the door. Ignore it. We don't have to open the door. If they were looking for Clyde, then let them do that. We're in the infirmary. What if someone needs it? Clyde started getting himself up, fueled by the weight of his responsibilities. Then I'll check. If they're not here to rest, I'll close the door on their face. I pushed Clyde back down and took it upon myself to see this issue solved. Another knock before I could reach the handle. Yes, I heard you. One moment. I gave it a quick peek, immediately recognized those brown patterns, and opened the door fully. Hey. Where's the button to slam the door? Girl, you got a lot of nerve showing up here. No ma'am, no ham, no turkey. Turn your big ass around and march away. Left, right, left. Girl. Hey. I didn't hesitate to drag him inside and lock the door again, as punishment for being mean. So, who was it? Wait, damn it, wrong voice. So, who was it? The dragon slightly shifted his head upward to get a quick glance, only for his body to fully stand up when he recognized the wolf. Blake! Hello. I pushed him forward. You're so stiff. Sit down. Damn it! Not Ryan. Maybe Liam. Definitely Russell. What are you doing, Blake? What are you doing, Blake? Are you here to deliver a pizza? fix our washing machine! or fix the pipes! And I'm gonna ping him real quick, because we need him here. We need him here. Hang on, yeah, that's good. Let me ping him real quick. Alright. You're so stiff. Sit down. Yeah, I will. There was an awkward silence, but their faces said it all already. I wanted to apologize for the things I said before. I shouldn't have lashed out at you like that, and I just felt too ashamed to come back right away. But then I was told Joel fainted and I rushed here. I think we've both made mistakes, so please, let it be water under the bridge. I should have told you the truth immediately, and discussed it together instead of ambushing you this way in front of everyone. You simply knew how I'd react, and I can't really blame you for that. You should walk the path you believe in. I'm not going to stop you. I just need you to know that I'm supposed to be an impartial judge here. Was it Liam who committed those harmful pranks? You need to show proof. I will. I'm going to get through those records properly this time. That's the Blake I know. Liam has also been assigned to this case. He'll try to prove his innocence instead. I figured that was your plan. I'm going to keep an open mind and read his reports as well. Wonderful! I appreciate not only your cooperation, but also your timing. You want to know what happened, don't you? Blake wasn't the only one who wanted to know. I was so focused on trying to locate Clyde that I had ignored what Liam wanted to say to me. I'd like you to tell me as well. When I woke up, my memories were hazy. Do you remember the things Liam told us before you fainted? He talked about his job. I remember that, yes. At some point, he mentioned how sometimes people disappear and are never found again. Because the kidnappers aren't real people. You went pale. I did. I've seen people vanish exactly like that. With the culprits never being found, and hearing those words sent a shiver down my spine. The book reacted to my feelings, putting you in danger. I'm truly sorry for that. It's really hard to believe. I understand. I felt the same way. You just have to be wary of the situation in case this happens again. Where is the book? We have to get rid of it tonight. It's always on me. I didn't feel safe leaving it on my desk. Isn't it dangerous? What will we do if the book goes crazy again? I've had enough time to test what Liam told me. Nothing happens if I'm not unstable. But I know what you're trying to say. Yes, I was a tiny bit upset in the bathroom earlier. It did trigger, and somehow the mirrors shattered. My brow furrowed when he blatantly downplayed the situation. I must say, that really surprised me. Ryan's wanted. Ryan's wanted. I want him. You say Ryan's a clingy bitch? Clearly you haven't met me. I must say, that really surprised me. A sigh escaped me. I considered it pointless to dwell on it, but I wished Clyde would take the situation seriously and be more careful. Thankfully, it was just that. Somehow the idea of Clyde punching a mirror is less believable than a magical book. And the impact would injure my fists at best. Can you see a cut? No, I can't. They both turned to me, specifically to my bandaged finger. It's not how it looks. I instinctively hid my hand behind my back, which did nothing but make me look more suspicious. You're thinking the same thing I did when I patched him up. He never entered the room. I was alone when it happened. Yet, his finger was cut from glass. Somehow, this is making less sense the more we learn about it. I only scraped it against the wall. It can't be explained any other way, I guess. They were clearly unsatisfied by my answer, but they could never guess the truth. I'll be looking into Margaret later. I told her I wanted to find how that information reached her. I suspect someone in the council is giving it to her. Ryan is for sure wanted. I want him. He needs to learn to give us space. Well, he can learn how to give you space by ignoring my space. Come here, Ryan, baby girl. I'll be looking into Margaret later. I told you I wanted to find how that information reached her. I suspect someone on the council is giving it to her. I'd like to ask you to refrain from doing that. Margaret must have connections everywhere, and I don't need you to get on her bad side. Things are tough enough as they are. I'll be careful. I'm not planning to get into trouble. But if I'm busy going around, you'll need someone to help you while I'm gone. That's why I brought these with me while I was looking for you. We watched him open a little folder he'd been carrying ever since we saw him, and Clyde's face lit up in response. Oh, I see. Your face tells me that you've been considering it too. What's up with those papers? Those are forms to join the council. I thought about asking you tomorrow, but considering Blake went out of his way to bring them here. I pointed at myself, somewhat incredulous. I lacked any kind of work experience and knowledge for something this important. You want me? Are you sure? I have no idea what you guys do. I can teach you. I very much prefer someone inexperienced that I can trust over someone who will work against me. We have enough of those wandering around. We won't leave you alone if that's what you're worried about. I'm also worried about having to stay at school longer than I'd like to. I'll be the one managing you. I just need to ask you to let me know beforehand so I can plan accordingly. But we can discuss this in greater detail after approving your request. Do I start right now? No, it takes at least a day for the process to complete. We'll have a discussion about you, get approval from other members, have a majority vote, etc. Basically, it's not fun. You should be fine. Everyone knows your academic performance is one of the highest, and your scholarship will greatly boost your chances. Fine, if the rules aren't too strict, I'll happily lend a hand where I can. I took the forms from his hand and followed the instructions, signed everything, and returned them to Blake. Joel Kaysen. Hearing him use my full name took me by surprise and placed me on high alert. It really felt like being called by my mother moments before a disaster. That's me! Blake extended his hand forward for a handshake, and I reluctantly accepted it, not knowing where this was coming from. It was a stable and firm grip that exuded confidence. I'm Blake Reed. Nice to meet you. I grabbed his hand and he threw it back at me. Like a whip, it hit me back in the face. What was that about? Giving you a small preview of what will happen tomorrow. They'll be approaching you like this, offering a small introduction and handshake. Maybe try looking less like a wet noodle. Bitch! Bitch, you're calling... Oh, hell no! Oh, hell no! Oh, hell no! I know you aren't calling me a wet noodle, you reverse Shadow the Hedgehog looking motherfucker. You look like you're about to listen to fucking... You look like you're about to listen to 160 kilobit Linkin Park on a pair. The thing before the current earpods by Apple, the one before that. You look like you're about to listen to Linkin Park through that. You look like you're about to jam out to fucking emo music. You look like you're trying to cosplay as a dish from One Piece. I don't want to hear shit.
Clyde is fine, Patrice needs to own up and man the fuck up, Russell needs people skills, Blake's good, Liam and Ryan ain't one of the clingy C, and Joel's fine but he needs to have people skills as well, sorry. I know, you did not just call me a wet noodle.
That was enough, my hat needed me. It's understandable for you to miss the mark if you've never done this before. But the next one should be fine now that you're ready for what's coming. Was this really necessary? I very much preferred introductions that only required speaking to one another with no touching. Blake wanted to do it again, but I took a step back, hiding behind the dragon. I watched Clyde dig something else from his bag that I recognized immediately from the cover.
Pretty disguised Naruto runs through the halls and argues with his friends of how Goku could beat Superman.
What? And my eyes widened in terror regardless of my involvement with them. You seem in the mood to tease, Joel. So maybe I'll bring these in the conversation. Do you mind explaining these magazines? Oh, shit. Our days come full circle. Our days come full circle.
Don't diss on my baby girl Blake.
Then don't diss on my baby boy Ryan. Do you mind explaining these magazines? Blake quickly clammed up as the dragon waved them at him, waiting for an answer. I was searching for a specific document and came across these two. I'll spare you the details, but I was forced to have uncomfortable conversations with a couple of students over them. I didn't think you'd find them so soon. It's the drawer you rarely open. Which happened to have been opened today. What's your justification? My office isn't meant to be your storage. And did you open them? Blake, eager to know the answer, chose to dig his hole deeper. Clyde pinched his nose bridge, exasperated like someone who had already gone through this before. Blake, please. Do you really think I ever considered that option? Blake's excitement dissolved, but the glimmer in his eyes didn't abandon him. Fair. If you were around people when it happened, then it would have been bad. But now you can consider it. Clyde didn't hesitate to return those mags back to its owner. I'm not interested. Little whine in response to that wave of disappointment he was going through. Not at all. I brought both genders on purpose. Clyde gave those mags another concerned look, then faced him again. Was this premeditated? Were you planning to show them to me? Blake smirked as he took that opportunity, opening the male-oriented mag to get any kind of reaction. But I seemed to be the only one who gave a positive answer to that. Clyde looked uncomfortable instead as he pushed it down with his hand. I told you! Okay, what about the other one? Neither, Blake! The answer you wanted is that I'm not interested in either. Blake and I looked at each other, finally understanding what that truly meant. Are you ace? Clyde turned to me, wearing a confused look. Ace? He means asexual, but you most likely don't know what that means either. I don't like that condescending tone. I was simply trying to avoid the subject to spare myself from further humiliation. Why? Because you don't feel the same way we do? So many times I've listened to people discussing love and their sexual desires. People would use it as a conversation starter and ask me about it, only for me to look like a fool in their eyes. I felt as if something was wrong with me. Nah, you're perfectly healthy asexual. You're checking all the boxes. Well, good thing I didn't start writing that fanfiction. Well, I'm not going to write anything with Clyde in it. Or if I am, it's going to be wholesome. It's going to be wholesome Christian family content. That just so happens to be homo-romantic between Clyde and Liam. Because I have zero self-control. Oh, well, congratulations, Lug. Congratulations. No, you're a perfectly healthy asexual. You're checking all the boxes. What is that word? What does it mean? Exactly what you're describing. You feel no sexual attraction to people regardless of gender. Have you ever felt disgusted while thinking about it? You can say it, nobody will judge you for thinking that. Well, sometimes I do. It makes me feel so dirty and wrong. But it also feels wrong to be this way. That makes so much sense, honestly. I always read that as you not wanting to tell me. You'd be right. This isn't something I was proud of sharing, but somehow I feel relieved to know that I wasn't just born wrong. What the fuck just happened? Oh, fuck. Hang on. Don't fucking jinx it. Now it's happening. No, it wasn't a water bottle, it was a picture, I think. Hang on, let me grab it. Because if it broke, then I'm gonna fucking cry. Holy shit, it's still okay. No, it's still okay. It was a gift from one of my old bosses. It's still okay. I need to hang this up instead of having it do its thing. Yeah, it's a painting from my old bosses. From one of my old bosses. It's a gift. And I very much love it. I'm gonna put it back where it was. And we're going to resume this. The picture has resurrected from the floor. I secretly stole it from the Moonlight Castle. I secretly stole it from the castle. I stole it. Just kidding, I didn't. It was a gift. You'd be right. This isn't something I was proud of sharing, but somehow I feel relieved knowing that I'm not just born wrong. You have every right to feel what you're feeling because these experiences are subjective and apply to you alone. I see. What did you call it? Asexual, right? I might look into it later. I can't believe a term exists for me. Another knock on the door interrupted our conversation. We should get going now. How long have we been in here chatting? 30 minutes? I was hoping you'd take at least a 1-hour break. I don't mind, but we're hogging this space for far too long. We'll have to find a better place next time. The knocking continued, causing Blake to stand up. Yes, we heard you! I can't really imagine another place with beds, though. We'll have to settle on something simpler, unfortunately. Is there an empty room we can use? Maybe, we could create our own base, making it as comfortable as possible. I'm not sure. I could look into it and get back to you tomorrow. This institute is so big, there's a possibility of... His speech was cut short by the giant bear charging me. I was buried under his weight and suffocated by his fur and the scent of pines. Ryan! Yay! Ooh, ooh, Temu. Ooh, ooh, Temu. All of my wishes came true. I was buried under his weight and suffocated by his fur and the scent of pines. Help! I was so worried. Is it so much to ask to not push yourself so hard? I left you food, so did you eat it? I made sure it was something you liked. He kept going, rambling further and oversharing all his thoughts with us while I was being crushed under his weight. Clyde chuckled and Blake watched without saying anything, so I was completely at the bear's mercy for at least 5 minutes until they decided that was enough and got Ryan to move. I got flattened! I said, holding my head while the rest of my body felt numb. That static feeling tingling across my limbs. That reminds me of when we used to wrestle. I can't picture it. The weight is too different. So Joel wouldn't stand a chance. He was around my size when we were kids! Then his growth spurt hit, and he got twice as big! Bears are always going to be the biggest. He raised his hands, the same way a judge declared a winner in wrestling, beaming with pride about it. Are you busy right now? My sudden question shifted the atmosphere and Ryan dropped whatever he was doing to think over what I asked. Kinda? Uncle asked to stop by for work, but I had to check on you first. Do you mind driving me home? It's on the way there. That should be fine. You should go. Recharge and prepare yourself for tonight. Blake and I will take care of the rest. Yeah, I heard about the room, by the way, and I like his suggestion. I'll do my best to make it happen. I know, right? We'd have the perfect excuse to drag Clyde away from work. I like how your brain works. Clyde facepalmed in response. I'll see you two later then. Ryan and I said our goodbyes and left the room first. Is everything alright? Now that we're alone, you can speak freely about the whole thing. I think so? I do feel lightheaded, but I'll just get some painkillers and rest. Yeah, but isn't this weird? You've never been so fragile before, and you often look like you're on the verge of fainting. It's scaring me. Maybe I'm too stressed? I'll take the day off tomorrow and rest. I could be lacking sleep. You better be right, or I'm dragging you to your family doctor for a checkup. You don't have to... Ryan gave me a killer look. I'm sure I'll be fine tomorrow. This is all because of Liam and that stupid book. My ears perked up in response. Oh, he told you? It sounds too crazy to believe, but yeah, he did. It's in the group chat. I see. Just don't let him push you around. I know it's hard for you to say no. Girl, it was hard to explain in a way that made sense, but this was absolutely a choice I had made. There was this urge that pushed me forward regardless of how strange it was getting. Something I couldn't really put into words. I'll see you tonight. Gotta go. Thank you for the ride. It could be almost compared to a longing for what? The unknown? I'd yet to put it together. There's a familiar smell only your home has, and I really missed that today. I wanted nothing else but to relax now, just me and my academic notes. Thought about today, about Ryan, Clyde, Liam, Blake, and that stupid castle. This started yesterday night with that first headache I got, I was sure of it. My body didn't feel the same anymore, and it sucked. Nothing was done to me, though, which was the weird part. I was simply forced to realize this emptiness inside of me and how uncomfortable it was. And that wasn't a metaphor, I genuinely craved something I couldn't explain. My mind flashed back to the moment I waited for Clyde to leave the bathroom when Liam offered me assistance. That was the closest I got to feel like myself again. If we were family, do you think I could talk about this with you? My eyes were fixated on the ceiling, and that hole in my chest either took a different shape or it simply expanded. Dad left us so early, I barely remember what he looked like, and Mom, well, I haven't been honest with her, and who knows if I'll ever be. The price of running away only earned me more guilt and regrets. Fuck, what am I doing? Letting my thoughts rampage like this. I shoved these problems back into the closet they crawled out from and locked them in. She's not here, they're not here. I left, I'm done thinking about it. I went through my notes and memorized what I assumed was going to be the argument for our next exam, then fell asleep on the table. What's the point of drinking coffee if this is going to happen regardless? I grumbled out loud as I got up from the desk, checking the time, then my messages, to see if anything had happened while I was away. Aside from my little accident, there was nothing else worth mentioning. It was getting pretty late and the moon showed itself through my window. I enjoyed the view. Looking at it felt enchanting, calming my soul with its positive energy. Blake and I relate on that matter, at least. Walking under the moonlight was nice. I found myself staring at the moon multiple times while walking down the road, listening to nature in the background through my headphones. It was crowded, so I'd hoped to see people heading to the same place as me, but instead, they would stop at the sparkling cafes sitting on the main road, not bothering to get deeper inside and find the hidden gem waiting for them. Truly disappointing. They're missing out. I stood outside the cafe where I was able to distinguish some vague shapes, but their voices were drowned by the walls. Heard a rustling from the side of the building, and upon closer inspection, I saw a shadow moving from around the corner. Russell himself? Someone else working with him? I didn't care enough to investigate further and walked in. Russell's welcoming face was the first thing I saw, sweeping the floor near the entrance. Russell, if you go on about what you think a ghost looks like, I am going to take duct tapes, put them on your arms, and rip! Good evening. He raised his face to stare at me a little bit, then greeted me before I'd walk away. You look surprised to see me here. You noticed that? I assumed you were in the back. I sensed movement there. Russell grunted a bit as the realization struck him, then dropped the broom he was holding and rushed outside. I see. Oh, I go with, 20 nuggets, a basket of fries, and a large drink. You get it, you see food, you eat it. I see. Now that I thought about that, shadow was too small to be Russell's. He didn't need help. His face spelled anger rather than fear. I assumed someone was doing something they weren't supposed to. Hold up. Because I saw something. Man eats 400. Okay. I gotta fact check this. Okay. 25-year-old Anthony Thomas has been taken to the hospital in an ambulance after eating 413 chicken nuggets and getting paralyzed. 412 is the limit. Yeah, local man paralyzed after eating 413 chicken nuggets. So the limit is 412. Yeah, that's a thing! I assumed someone was doing something they weren't supposed to. I shrugged and walked deeper in to meet my friends at the counter. Blake, Dylan, and Patrice were all gathered around Clyde as he held a beer in his hand, looking a little uncomfortable. The smell of alcohol was already soaking the air, and as much as I wanted to blame the tiger for that, everyone seemed to be drinking tonight. Drink, 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 drink! I quickly got a picture of the situation as I watched Patrice sharing his terrible habits with an innocent target who clearly didn't have the energy to fight back. Evening. They turned to me for a few moments just to acknowledge my presence, then resumed their peer pressure tactics onto the dragon. I'm a little hesitant, I admit. I've seen what happens to people who drink, and that alone has always pushed me away from trying. Yeah, beers sure are scary. Dylan chuckled in a mocking tone. Patrice instead gasped and scooched closer, his eyes sparkling with excitement. I knew it! Holy shit, I knew it! You've never had a beer before! You have nothing to worry about, Clyde. You won't feel anything with just one cup. Blake was the only one trying to ease his worries. Get food and water afterwards and it'll be like you've never had beer at all. Come on, there's no need to call him. He's a big boy. One beer isn't enough to knock him out. Why do you sound disappointed? I wanted to warn him about the bitterness of the first drink, but I worried that he'd give up trying. What's it gonna be then? Are you giving up? It's a beer for fuck's sake. I'm drinking it if he doesn't. I will give it a try. It'd be rude of me to turn it down when someone else bought it for me. Clyde brought the cup closer and gave it a little sniff, and I saw his whiskers twirl around as he did. Don't put your tongue in, sips only. The dragon felt called out and went for the big sip instead. There it is! His eyes widened the moment his taste buds registered the flavor. Why is it so bitter? I couldn't taste anything except full acidity. Patrice chuckled, rewarded by seeing the dragon's disappointment. It's an acquired taste. You will taste other flavors when you try again. That's strange to me. Doesn't that mean it's not good if you have to get used to it? He was so right. At least coffee was useful. Beer did nothing but slap you in the face. Beer is great. You should try to get tipsy and see what this baby can do for you. Patrice reached for the bottle on the counter, gave himself another fill, and chugged down the entire thing. This stuff is the answer to all of your problems. You're unstoppable when you drink. Never forget that. Just a quick PSA. You are not unstoppable when you drink. Please. Do not get into alcoholism thinking that it's a solution to all your problems, because it's not. It's the opposite is actually true. It's not the solution to all your problems. You're unstoppable when you drink. Never forget that. Clyde tried again, and this time his face didn't twist with disgust. Instead, he kept going all the way to the bottom. Congrats, how do you feel? Nothing. Now I'm wondering if you people have lied to me about this. Is that what you think? Maybe you should keep going then. I'd love to see what kind of drunk you are. We could do that during a proper celebration. That sounds fun. I want to get everyone here drunk, including myself. You can't do that. At least two people should stay sober to look after the others. Me, I do that. I categorically refused to get drunk. I had an overall idea of what I would be doing, and oh boy, we were not going through that again. Patrice whistled, a malicious grin on his face. Why's that? What you hiding, Joel? I flushed red and shouted the first thing that popped into my mind. Why are you here anyway? I thought you didn't want to explore this castle. My therapist thinks it's a good opportunity to test myself and see how far I've come. So he's planning to get himself drunk to run away from the issue. I didn't say that. The only thing you're doing is stinking up the place with that disgusting breath of yours. Take a mint for fuck's sake. Patrice blushed uncomfortably, smelled his own breath, and walked away to fix it. He seems to have good tolerance for alcohol, unlike Ryan. He's a slutty drunk! Patrice shouted a few tables away from us. Don't tell him I said that! Where is he, by the way? I haven't seen him for a while now. They all shrugged, completely unaware just like me. He hasn't arrived yet, which is strange. Shall we call him to see? Russell returned, walked through our group, and entered his kitchen. We all noticed a certain hurry and agitation and peeked in. Does anyone have first aid knowledge? The bull placed some ice into a bucket and brought it to the counter. Did someone get hurt? Ryan just arrived with a red bruise on his face, so I'm bringing him something to relieve the swelling. I can check that out. Clyde quickly walked to the entrance while the others were left confused, asking for more information. Let's not overwhelm him right now. You'd need to be strong to overpower Ryan. I hope it's not serious. I want to see him. You shouldn't. You're the reason he refused to enter the cafe. Me? I'm sure he doesn't want to worry you. It was because of our talk, wasn't it? I told him I didn't feel safe and... Russell, give us your honest opinion on the bruise. That would help Joel be more patient. His cheek was punched and he had a nosebleed. Nothing was broken for what I've seen. It's just that some cleaning up is required. See, he simply didn't want you to see him with a bloody nose. Russell left with the ice for Ryan. Why was he hurt? What happened? We don't know that yet. You can guess the reason, Blake. You don't know for sure. There it is. Literally no other reason for anyone to hurt someone like Ryan. In this world, whoever was different wasn't allowed to live peacefully. That's just how things were. You'll always find crazy people out there. Why did I do a country accent? Fight for your right to exist in this world and make them regret meeting you. I shouldn't fight for something I should be entitled to have. Am I a monster? Do I look like a criminal to you? I just want to live my life. I know, Joel. I know. I stood up from my seat. Blake didn't say much, just opened his eyes and watched me leave. I didn't think I could sit still and wait like they wanted me to. Ryan was against the wall, holding the ice pack Russell gave him, and when our eyes met, he immediately turned away from me to hide his face. Clyde was taking care of him, but what was Liam doing here? He stopped watching and left when I stepped in. Let me see. Ryan fought me on this, constantly moving his head back and forth and refusing to show his face to me. When Clyde reprimanded him, he gave up and stopped. Yeah, the bruise was visible for now, but as I was told beforehand, it didn't look like it'd take long to heal. He stared in my eyes, trying to understand what was going through my head, and seemed more scared about what I would say than the wound itself. That's all I can do for now. Keep pressing that ice onto the bruise for a while longer. I'm going to let the others know that the situation is under control. I'm sure he had also wanted to give us a few minutes alone, which I appreciated. I was upset, but taking it out on him was meaningless. What happened? Can you tell me? James. I gave him a look to ask for confirmation. Were we talking about the same person? That James? He silently nodded in agreement. I thought you two always avoided each other. What's going on? I don't think it will happen again. He got it way worse than I did. I couldn't let that slide. The things he was saying about us after what we had discussed, you were never going to feel safe. Don't put yourself in danger because of me. It makes me happy that you want to create a better space for us, but if things had gone worse, if your injuries didn't look like they'd heal, I'd have been pissed. I understand. It's useless to do something you don't approve of, so I'll limit myself to self-defense. He removed the ice. How do I look? Cute. That's how you look. Ryan blushed and used his ice to prevent his temperature from rising. That's not... Thanks! I grabbed his hand and took a step back toward the cafe. Ready to join the others? Yeah. I think so. That's it. We took small steps together.
About time. I wasn't gonna give the same speech twice.
Actually, should we leave off here tonight? And save the rest of it for later? Yeah, we'll leave off here tonight. It's early, but... eh. Just a reminder, tomorrow we are not doing Moonlight Cast. We are not doing a visual novel stream. We are doing Girdlets. That's it. We're just doing Girdlets. For the 2-year anniversary. Ah! Anyways, stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.